Hello, my name's Matt Moreland, and I'm the principal of Pritchett School.
And I'm Julie Cummings, the assistant principal.
And welcome to our open house. It's great to be back after a couple years of COVID and all the challenges we've experienced. It's nice to come back to as normal as a year as we've had in a while. So, this is great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The purpose of our presentation today is to share with you a couple key areas about our school and our school district. We'll start and talk about the district's vision, followed about arrival and dismissal. Want to review with you some safety and health guidelines and other key things that I like to call what I need to know. So let's start with our district's vision. This was created by the community, approved by our Board of Education. It continues to evolve and it simply reads every day, every student will engage in meaningful learning opportunities within a safe, caring community, love and leave school feeling included, connected, and valued, looking forward to tomorrow. This is what drives us day in and day out.
And that district vision is what helped create the portrait of a graduate. And this was also come together by our community to help our future leaders become skilled communicators and collaborators, effective problem solvers and decision makers, ethical and open minded global citizens, and determined and empowered individuals.
And this portrait of a graduate, we've been looking at this portrait for about 5 years now, and it's time to check in with the community. We're going to be, the school district will be engaging the community in kind of checking in, is this the direction we want to go? Um, and to do that, Dr. Wilcox, our superintendent, will be communicating this month about engaging the community. As I've said, she'll hold three different types of meetings. If you can't attend in person, one meeting will be held over Zoom, one meeting will be held in person at the junior high, and the third meeting will be held in person at the Early Learning Center at Meridian School. If you're able to attend the in person meetings, please note they will be held outside. These will take place in September. They're not three different meetings. Each of these meetings have the same type of agenda. So you don't need to attend all three, but we really ask that you engage and participate and help set the direction for our school district. One of the things that's new this year are these staff development Wednesdays. What I want to share here is um, these Wednesdays are going to become incredibly useful because it provides that needed time for our teachers to plan and co-plan for our students. And we understand it may be difficult for some families, but we need you to understand that by giving us this time on Wednesday, our teachers are able to do great work for your students. So thank you in advance for these early release Wednesdays.
So some of you that aren't new to the district might have heard your students, your children talking about the zones of regulation. And as a building, as a district, we are all about social emotional learning. It's at our heart. So throughout the school year, we're going to be reintroducing the different zones, which really just categorize the different feelings or different actions into these three different colors. So students throughout the year will be learning about different feelings and tools and strategies to help them get through hard times or to keep them just ready in that good green zone. So just know that throughout the year, different lessons and activities will be introduced to your children with the SEL focus.
Oh, this is a good one, Mrs. Cummings. Drop off and pick up. Always a good one.
Drop off and pick up. Please note where the buses are in our half circle along Horatio Drive. It is, if you can do that arrow, thank you, Dr. Moreland. You will need to come southbound on Horatio to make a right hand turn into the Pritchett parking lot in order to drop off or pick up your children from school. Please know that a left hand turn into the parking lot off of Horatio is illegal. So once you have entered, please follow the signs until it says stop here. From there, we will either get your child or children out of the car or into your car.
How about a crossing guard? Do we have a crossing guard?
Absolutely. If you are a walker, you will notice that a crossing guard will be stationed closer to our half circle by our main building. And that crossing guard crosses across Horatio as well as stops traffic from entering our parking lot. Once you are done either dropping off or picking up your child, please make sure you exit also heading southbound on Horatio. There are no left hand turns out of the parking lot.
All right. Let's take a look at the new health and safety guidelines, especially when it comes to COVID. Obviously, we want children um, to be healthy. And if your child is sick, please keep your child at home and report the absence, including the symptom or symptoms your child may have. I'll share with you the attendance number in a couple slides forward. The big three that we always want to keep tabs on are fever, diarrhea, and vomiting. If your child has any of these three symptoms, they must stay home for at least 24 hours before returning to school. In regards to COVID, there is no longer any requirement to test for COVID inside or outside of school. But if your child does have multiple symptoms, we would strongly encourage a test. An at home test is completely fine and acceptable. If you would like your child to be tested at school, again, a child showing more than one symptom, we need you to complete that consent form. That was shared out in the 10 Tuesday. I shared it out in the Pritchett Post. You can also find it on D102's website under COVID 19 prevention and updates. In this yellow part here, this really talks about what happens if. If your child does test positive for COVID 19, your child will be excluded from school for 5 days. And after those 5 days, they can return to school. And we would advise and recommend they wear a well fitted mask for the next 5 days. It's not a requirement, it's a recommendation. Um, when your child is ill, we know that rest is essential. Please don't worry about what your child may be missing. Our teachers are amazing, and our teachers will help your child get caught up once they're ready to return to school. Now, if your child is at home with a positive case of COVID 19, it's positive, and your child's feeling well enough, please know that the teacher will be able to arrange some ELA and math content that will be available through Seesaw. Again, this only relates to a positive case of COVID 19, does not relate to diarrhea or vomiting or fever. This only relates to a positive case. So I just wanted to share last year, Mrs. Cummings and I, and our nurse Chris, we dealt so much with these keywords isolation and quarantine. Well, going forward, those keywords no longer exist. The state of Illinois will not be using that terminology anymore. Instead, they're using the word exclusion. If your child is test positive for COVID 19, your child will be excluded for 5 days, as I just shared. Um, Depending on how your child is feeling, we can use the Seesaw platform to provide them with an ELA and math assignment through Seesaw. And excluded students will be marked absent. That's important that you know. Oh, Mrs. Cummings, remember this from last year? What are
Well,
those 3 W's again? These are the greatest tips that we can give.
watch your distance, wash your hands, and wear a mask, depending on what situation or environment you're in.
Right. We would even recommend at home talking to your kids about, when you're in the classroom and you're at your desk, maybe you don't need your mask. But if you're going to be coming to the rug, so to speak, and you're all close together, maybe that's called situational. Maybe that's a time when you want to have your child wear a mask. Again, there's no requirement. We're not going to force a child to wear a mask or not wear a mask. It's very situal based on the comfort of level of the family and the child. Attendance, this is what I was getting to a couple slides before. If and when your child is sick, we ask that you call our attendance line by 8 o'clock. Please let us know the symptom your child has, and our attendance line is 847-353-5703. Attendance does matter. Thank you in advance. Oh, Mrs. Cummings, you want to talk about safety?
Absolutely. Safety is so important to us here at Pritchett School. So please know that any visitor coming to our building will need to ring the buzzer and state the nature of their visit before they are buzzed into our main entrance. Once that happens, the visitor would then visit our front office, and specifically at that front window where it says, "Welcome to Pritchett." The visitor must present an ID to an office staff member, and that ID is then scanned into our Raptor system to check for safety concerns. Once the visitor has been approved through the Raptor system, they will be given a yellow lanyard to be worn throughout the building, showing that they have clearance to be in the building. Also, very important are the safety drills that we will be conducting throughout the school year. So please know, as a state requirement, all schools must conduct the following safety drills: 3 fire evacuation drills, tornado severe weather drills will happen twice. There's 1 bus evacuation drill and 1 law enforcement drill.
All right. Let's continue on with what we need to know as a parent, as a guardian. Communication is key. I'm sure you all are very aware of the district website, d102.org. If you want to find anything unique to Pritchett School, just click on our link and there's an announcement page. I send home what's called the Pritchett Post. I try to do it twice a month. And this is really the main form of communication from Pritchett School. Please do me a favor. Don't hit delete when you see this message. We put a lot of time and effort into the Pritchett Post. If it's going out to you, there's valuable information we want you to know. Please take a moment. Please peruse it, look over it. And if you have any questions, reach out to the school so we can answer them. This is given out, or this is electronically sent out through email. We try to do it every other Friday. Oh, this is a good one, Mr. Cummings.
So we do have some lunch requests for students who are bringing a lunch from home. It's important to make sure that your child's lunch in entirety can be placed into one main container, such as a lunch bag. So if you look in this picture here, this is a typical lunch bag. So not only is the main dish of able to fit in it, but as well a small drink. This is so important to have it self-contained, just because as students, when they're done with lunch, they place their lunches into a bin, and if it's not in one container, it can be misplaced or fall out of the bin as it's transported to or from the classroom. Um, Also very important, I love a good refillable water bottle, but a lot of times they're big and bulky, and those are the things that fall out first. So if you could, please go ahead and take a look. And we are recommending a larger lunch bag for your child to have.
All right. Our school is a wonderful school. Our district is a wonderful district because of our partnerships, particularly with our PTO. And we have 3 PTO reps with Pritchett School this year. We have Sejal, Nan, and Carol. This is their contact information. We really, really encourage you to get involved with the PTO. They do so many wonderful things for our school, whether it's money that they raise or just the time and energy and programming that they do. The bingo night that they do is my favorite event of the entire year. I love bingo. All these fun activities are put on by our PTO, and they wouldn't exist without you. So please, please, please get involved. Reach out to any of these individuals for more information. We would love to see you part of our PTO. And on that note, this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. It's going to be a fantastic year. Uh, Mrs. Cummings and I can always be reached at the school. You can contact us either directly or just simply call the school main number and ask to speak to us. We do everything we can to return phone calls and emails within 24 hours. Have a wonderful school year.